Imagine this. A sun-drenched Spanish castle, a really charming aunt, and this mysterious kind of autocratic man. Sounds like a dream, right?
Absolutely.
But sometimes, even in these really romantic settings, things get, well, complicated. Deliciously complicated, even. Welcome to the Deep Dive, your shortcut to being well-informed. Today, we're diving deep into Rebecca Stratton's classic romance novel, Castles in Spain.
Yeah, and it's a fascinating source, maybe not, strict history, but it gives us amazing look at relationships, cultural clashes, and that sort of unexpected passion.
Right.
So our mission today is really to unpack the surprising dynamics, the kind of hidden meanings in what seems like a straightforward story on the surface.
We're not just doing a plot summary here.
No, exactly. We want to dig into why the characters do what they do, the cultural stuff that's going on, and how this whirlwind visit to a Spanish castle turns into this whole drama of revelations and forced choices.
We're aiming to pull out the key insights for you so you feel totally informed about this really captivating story. You'll get not just what happens, but why it all matters.
Precisely.
Okay, so let's unpack it. The story kicks off with Holly Gilmour, young Englishwoman, heading to Spain. She's feeling, well, a mix of excitement and maybe a little apprehension.
Yeah, she's going to visit her Aunt Nan Delgaro. And Nan... well, she pulled off quite a surprise nearly 10 years back.
She really did. This former nurse, everyone thought she was so, set and unchangeable. And then suddenly, boom, she marries this wealthy Spanish widower, Don Jose Delgaro, just 4 months after taking a job abroad. That's pretty bold for the time, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. It was a huge step for her, a real cultural leap. Holly remembers her aunt looking like a very English picture, plump, homely, sensible spurts.
Right.
But now, she's Senora Delgaro, mistress of this ancient castle, sending these blithely uninhibited letters about her husband, her new country.
It's more than just a change of address.
It really is. It highlights this huge shift in Nan's identity. It shows how a new place, a new relationship can just completely redefine someone. It almost sets a pattern, maybe, for Holly's own journey of challenging expectation.
That's a great point. So Holly arrives at this tiny little airfield, Lazuro, and almost right away, she runs into Marcos Delgaro, Don Jose's son.
And the description is quite something. Tall, striking, jet black hair, eyes almost as black, and this air about him, autocratic, ruthless.
Yeah, quite the introduction. What's your take on that immediate dynamic? The way they kind of clash right from the get-go.
Well, it's your classic alpha hero intro, isn't it? Common in these kinds of romance novels. And that full name he gives her, Marcos Esteban de Delgaro y Peronda.
Very formal.
It's more than formal. It's like symbolic. It declares his status, his heritage, the whole traditional world Holly's just stepped into. His initial arrogance and her immediate pushback.
Telling him his country needs tourists.
Exactly. That sets up their enemies to lovers thing right away. This clash isn't just an argument. It's the book establishing this core power dynamic. Marcos asserts control. Holly pushes back instead of backing down. And that push and pull is really key to understanding why their connection later feels earned, despite all that initial friction.
It does make you wonder, though, given how dismissive he is of tourists at first.
Yeah.
How quickly his attitude shifts.
Right.
Because then, surprisingly, Marcos offers to be her guide, and Holly is startled, taken aback. She even realizes that, being polite and obliging, Marcos Delgaro was a very attractive man. Is that a genuine shift, do you think, or just another subtle power move?
I think it's a bit of both, which is what makes him compelling. He's definitely assessing her. He's used to people just, deferring to him. Her defiance, that sparks something. It turns his disdain into more of a challenge. Offering to guide her is a subtle way to reassert control. He'll show her his Spain on his terms.
Okay.
And then there's that later warning, that unsettling comment about the dangers of being too trusting with our male population.
Yeah, that was odd.
And combined with his earlier comment, you, I think, señorita, are not the same as you were 10 years ago. It just ramps up the tension. He sees something in her, he's drawn to it, but he also feels this need to warn her, maybe even control her.
Okay, let's fast forward a bit. Aunt Nan drops a bombshell. Marcos is supposed to marry Helena Mendez.
The fiancé appears.
Right, an arranged marriage between these old families. Holly apparently found this hard to believe still happened.
Understandably.
Nan says Helena is very definitely in favor, but Marcos, he's merely doing what's expected of him. This sets up that classic conflict, right? Duty versus desire.
Exactly. And Helena isn't just some rival. She embodies tradition, social expectation. The description paints her vividly. dark sophistication, voluptuous figure, that traditional chignon.
So it's formidable.
Totally. Holly immediately clocks her as formidable competition, and for good reason. Helena represents everything Marcos is supposed to be, and she's clearly determined to keep it that way. Her presence just instantly raises the stakes for any feelings developing between Marcos and Holly.
The dinner scenes really highlight this dynamic. You've got this grand, dark raftered hall, portraits of ancestors looking down.
Dark-visaged men with hawk-like countenances sets the mood.
Definitely. And Helena uses this setting for these subtle, then not so subtle, jabs at Holly, questioning her work ethic, implying she might be trying to follow the example of your aunt.
Basically suggesting she's a gold digger.
Pretty much. A direct attack, really, disguised as sort of concerned observation.
It's a clever tactic from Helena, trying to put Holly in her place, but Don Jose steps right in.
He does. Good old Don Jose.
He defends Nan, and by extension Holly, saying, "The good fortune of our early marriage was mine, Helena." That shuts Helena down and reinforces that Nan is accepted, which makes Holly's position a little more secure.
And then Marcos jumps in too.
Yes, saying, "You are honored, Padre. I have been refused the privilege of using the señorita's first name."
What's behind that?
It's not just politeness. It feels like Marcos marking his territory, subtly staking a claim or showing his interest in Holly, even while he's engaged. It's a big moment where his personal feelings start to kind of bubble up past the social rules.
It's fascinating how the tension just builds through these specific, really high-stakes incidents. Let's talk about the paddock incident.
Oh, yes. Chapter 2.
Holly goes to the stables. She's drawn to these beautiful Arab horses, but she's also a bit scared. Tries to make friends with the black mare.
And it doesn't go well.
No. She falls, nearly gets trampled. It's that classic damsel in distress setup, isn't it?
It absolutely is. And it's a real turning point because it takes all that simmering tension and just ignites it. There's danger, but also this undeniable physical connection.
Marcos makes the dramatic entrance.
Oh, yeah. Shouting, "Fuera, bastante, fuera." You can almost hear the soundtrack swell. He's furious, but right away also really concerned for Holly. You are not hurt.
His anger then shifts, right, to the hat.
Yes. It's almost comical if it weren't so intense. He starts scolding her for not wearing the hat he insisted on buying her, snapping, "You would rather wear a bonda on your head like a peasant woman than the hat you have, because I gave it to you."
Wow. Possessive much.
Totally. It's less about the hat and all about his possessive, controlling side coming out, but mixed with this genuine relief, she's okay.
Okay, and here's where it gets really interesting. He gives her that disturbing kiss. Sudden, fierce, pulls off her scarf, presses her against the fence, calls her poco de hielo, little ice. This moment is so charged. What do you think this reveals about Marcos's real feelings, beyond just anger, and about Holly's own internal conflict?
I think it's the moment the mask really slips for both of them. For Marcos, it shows this almost uncontrollable passion that just bulldozes over his manners, his engagement, everything. He's not just mad, he's frustrated by her spirit, by his own attraction.
I'm calling her little ice.
It's a bit of a trope, yeah. The dominant hero trying to melt the heroine. But it's also a direct challenge to her composure. And for Holly, her reaction, fear, exhilaration, that unsettling attraction, shows she's not just passive. She's genuinely drawn to him, despite, or maybe because of, the intensity. It points to this complex, maybe even dangerous chemistry.
Yet afterwards.
His soft laugh, the mucho alegre, very happy. It confirms he's satisfied he broke through her defenses, just for that moment.
Okay, moving on. The flamenco incident. Holly wants to see real flamenco, the gypsies, in San Adolfo.
And Marcos is predictably dismissive, very dusty, very ragged, and not what you expect at all. Classic Marcos.
Holly pleads, "Please, can I see them, Marcos?" And this feels like a shift, a softer dynamic, maybe. He actually agrees.
It is a shift. It shows her spirit kind of winning him over, her growing influence, but then his grand gesture throwing coins to the dancer.
Yeah, Holly finds that a bit like a rather corny film.
Right. And that's where the cultural clash flares up again. It leads to this huge argument. Marcos gets furious, drives dangerously, accuses her of being childishly and deliberately rude.
He really lays into her.
He does. You may laugh at them. With me, you will behave or you will be sorry. It's not just about manners. It's him asserting his cultural pride, his expectations for her behavior in his world. And then he drops that little detail.
That he gave up an evening with Helena for her.
Exactly. Reinforcing that he chose to be with Holly, despite his other obligations. It's telling.
And then comes the second passionate kiss. Right after the argument, he kisses her, even though he's engaged. a clear sign of his conflict.
Definitely.
But then he demands, "You will not do anything foolish, mi pequeña," like telling Senorita Mendez about this little episode. That's not just passion, is it? It's a direct violation of his duty.
It really shows how torn he is. He's drawn to Holly physically, emotionally, but he's also steeped in the sense of duty, social obligation to Helena. The kiss betrays the duty, but telling her to keep quiet shows he's not ready for the consequences.
And Holly.
She feels utterly let down. She realizes he'll probably still marry Helena, regardless of whatever's happening between them. It really highlights the power imbalance. He gets to indulge his feelings, but she's left holding the emotional fallout, knowing his societal duty seems to outweigh his personal desires, at least for now.
So after all this intensity, Holly decides enough is enough. Her position is untenable.
Can't blame her, really.
She books a flight to Barcelona, planning to escape the castle, the undeniably romantic atmosphere. Aunt Nan is concerned, and Holly even admits Marcos is no novice when it comes to making love. She's not naive about what's happening.
No, she gets it. And then things escalate dramatically.
Yeah.
Holly goes for one last walk, sees Marcos riding in the distance.
And Helena Mendez deliberately runs her down with her car, knocks her into a stone gully.
It's shocking. Holly's hurt sickening pain in her leg, head injury, a big bump. This isn't an accident. It's Helena being incredibly malicious, trying to violently remove her rival. It shows how desperate, how cornered Helena feels.
Marcos finds her. His dark, angry look shifts instantly to anxiety. He lifts her gently into the car. But then comes the kicker. The disbelief.
Yeah, this part is infuriating.
Holly's hesitant to name Helena, worried no one will believe her because the Mendez family is so important. And she's right to worry.
Totally right. It tells you so much about the power structures in this world. The doctor even notes the mark on her thigh is consistent with being struck a blow.
Yet they still suspect Marcos first. Aunt Nan actually asks, "Holly dear, was it Marcos?"
Unbelievable. Holly denies it, of course, but when she finally does name Helena, what happens?
Disbelief. The doctor literally says, "You are, I think, suffering from a delusion."
It just reveals the huge influence, almost fear, surrounding the Mendez family. Holly, the outsider, the victim, her word means almost nothing against that established power. It's the cultural clash laid bare. Individual truth versus social standing.
And making it worse, Aunt Nan cancels Holly's flight. Marcos finds out, gets very cross he was kept in the dark, sends roses.
A classic Marcos move.
But Nan reveals Marcos thinks Holly's accusation against Helena could hurt him as much as anyone. So even he initially seems to side with the family name, the connection. Holly's just left completely frustrated, no one believing her.
Which leads us right into these critical confrontations, setting up the climax. Holly's kind of relieved about Marcos staying away after the accident.
Probably needs the space.
Right. But she also admits she misses him. She sees him from her window, he deliberately snubs her, and it hurts. That push-pull is still going strong.
But then suddenly he's there, in her room, tall and heart-stoppingly attractive, the book says.
Of course.
He just scoops her up, carries her to bed despite her protests, tells her not to hinder her recovery, but also says she simply objects to doing as you were told.
Still trying to be the boss.
Yep. Holly fires back, calls him cold and hard, says he's being unfair to both her and Helena. And Marcos, kisses her again, asserting dominance, desire, all of it. It's a huge moment, showing how possessive he feels, even while outwardly doubting her story.
And the next scene, pure theater. Marcos carries Holly downstairs to the salon-plastered leg and all, makes this huge public spectacle right as Helena arrives.
Talk about timing.
Helena is furious. Dándose el brazo, mi amor, como amigable. Arm in arm, my love. How friendly. You can feel the venom.
But Marcos just carries on, that arrogant disregard for anyone's opinion but his own. He keeps showing affection for Holly, basically putting Helena in her place at dinner.
He does. Helena tries to push the marriage talk with the priest, Monsignor Barado, tries to pin Marcos down.
But Marcos stalls. Says he wants to talk to his father alone. He's definitely up to something here, isn't he? Not just stalling.
Oh, it's way more than stalling. It's a calculated move. And the plot really comes to a head now. Aunt Nan's worried about Marcos and Don Jose arguing, asks Holly to find out what's up. She suspects Don Jose knows about Marcos flirting with you.
And Holly's grappling with her own feelings. That line, "love of Marcos," was a kind of exquisite agony. That really sums it up, doesn't it?
It perfectly captures her conflict. It's not just charm, it's the whole emotional roller coaster he puts her through.
So she goes back to the paddock where it all sort of started.
Full circle.
And confronts Marcos directly about Helena. "Please don't give Helena cause to try and pull my hair out by its roots again. She did hurt me, and she did run me down in her car. Finally, she stands up for herself.
And this is the moment. The shocking, triumphant admission from Marcos. He finally believes her. I believe you, mi pequeña. She ran you down because she hates you.
Wow. That must have been huge for Holly.
Immense validation after all that disbelief. And then he reveals his master plan, his really bold move to break the engagement. He told his father he'd compromised Holly, visited her bedroom not once, but 3 times.
Whoa, he weaponized the social code against itself.
Exactly. It's a massive gamble. He basically manipulated the rules to get what he wanted. And he declares his love, fully acknowledging the cost. I have gambled my honor to have you for my own. My father forgives me only because he is very fond of you. El Conde de Mendez will never acknowledge me again, and his daughter will hate us both. But I think you are worth losing such things for.
That's quite a declaration. Choosing her over everything. Reputation, alliances.
It absolutely is. It shows his complete transformation, his commitment. He used the very traditions that trapped him to break free. And then the proposal. Still classic Marcos, though. So, unless you want to be shockingly compromised, you will marry me.
Yeah.
Still got that dominant edge, but now it's backed by real love, real sacrifice.
And Holly.
She just softly says, I will. Simple, powerful, accepting this love that defied everything.
Wow. Okay, so you've just had a deep dive into Castles in Spain, a story that really shows how strong emotions, rigid cultural expectations, how they can just collide and create these incredibly complex, sometimes dangerous situations.
Yeah, we've really seen how family duty, this idea of honor, and this passionate, almost fated love just clash, leading to these unexpected confessions and really bold moves that kind of redefine everything for the family.
We've watched Holly transform, haven't we?
Yeah.
From this slightly naive visitor into someone who has to face her deepest feelings, her fears, and ultimately finds her voice, her agency.
Definitely. And we've peeled back the layers on Marcos, that autocratic exterior, revealing someone capable of huge passion, decisive action, willing to actually sacrifice social standing for love.
And we saw how Helena's malice just completely backfired in the end, didn't it? Clearing the way for this totally unforeseen ending shows what unchecked jealousy can do. So what does this all mean for you listening?
Well, this deep dive is maybe a reminder that even in settings that seem like fairy tales, real happiness often means you have to challenge the rules, make some audacious choices.
Yeah, it really poses the question, doesn't it? How much are you willing to risk for what you truly want when tradition, expectation, maybe even family stand in the way? Is love always worth losing such things? Reputation, connections, the path laid out for you? The characters here certainly seem to think so.
It did indeed.
We hope this deep dive is giving you plenty to think about. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning.
And keep diving deep.